Do you feel like you're running on empty? You're sort of exercising, maybe eating well, occasionally getting a good night's sleep. Is the constant pace of how fast the world is changing overwhelming your brain and putting you into overload? And what if the very thing that's designed to help you adapt isn't working for you, your brain's safety system? Today I'm going to show you three things. Number one, I'm going to show you why your brain resists change, whether you know it or not. And number two, I'm going to show you what happens when the brain resists change, whether you know it or not. And three, how can you flip the switch in mere minutes and put everything back into balance? Why does your brain resist change? Well, let's take a very big topic called neurology and make it super simple. You have this part of your brain, the frontal cortex, and that's what allows you to learn, to make decisions, to carry them out, discover, do all the things that we do logically. And then back here is your brainstem cerebellum, and it has one job. And that one job is to keep you safe. Am I safe? Unsafe, safe, unsafe. Safety is not a logical decision. It's run based on our experiences, and it's what we're going through, familiar, predictable, or known. And if it's not, the brainstem cerebellum goes unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. Logic is saying, I'm totally safe. Guess who wins when they're in disagreement? Every single time. Every single time. When the brainstem cerebellum says you're not safe, then all kinds of things happen in our autonomic nervous system. All kinds of physical reactions happen. So if you think about our world today, what used to take 10 years to change, it's happening in 3 months. So that's not predictable. That's not familiar. That's not known to any of us. So the override of our brainstem cerebellum is saying unsafe, unsafe, unsafe. And that overwhelm hits. We feel like we can't possibly do all this. And then step two happens. So what happens when we move into all of this resistance? Our brainstem cerebellum is in unsafe. That's when we trigger fight, flight, or freeze. We either go into this or we fight, we react. We can't get into our logic. We're in reaction. And when we're in that fight, flight, or freeze, all kinds of pathways in our body become impacted. It impacts our aging. It impacts our inflammation. It impacts our sleep patterns. It impacts digestion and gut. It impacts pain. It impacts focus. It impacts many, many, many pathways. And when those pathways are impacted, because we're in this mode, it's not going to be impacted by another supplement. It's not, even neurology, as helpful as it is, and we've taught it for 10 years. Right now, it's just not fast enough to get you from here up to here so you can be in balance, that this brain pathway can move into balance and homeostasis. So what if you could flip a switch and in mere minutes put 1, 2, 3, 4 of your brain pathways back into balance? What might change? So step 3. What if you could flip a switch and get out of here and up to here? I listened to one of the top surgeons in the United States, and she talked about a technology that I hadn't heard of. If somebody else had mentioned it to me, I'd have thought, that is the dumbest, hokiest thing I've ever heard of. But she had credentials, she had science, and she was talking my language. She's a colorectal surgeon, and she's talking about the gut-brain connection. She was talking about neurology, digestion, all the things I've been doing for over 40 years as a naturopath. She got my attention. She explained the science behind it, where they used EEG testing of the brain, and they would take that little technology that just kind of looks like a 2x2 inch Band-Aid. And they would do the EEG test on the brain, and then they would put the patch on. It would take that pathway that they were looking at to homeostasis or balance. They'd take the patch off, it'd go back to being dysfunctional. And I went, That's powerful. They did all kinds of testing, and even in their double-blind placebo testing, it came in at 0.0001, which is 1 in 1,000 chance that it was placebo. This is pretty rock-solid evidence, and she has found it to be absolutely essential in what she does after surgery in helping her patients get through with the least number of problems. So as I started looking at all that and looking at what happens when you put a brain pathway back into balance, all of a sudden the brain is working at all 10 cylinders. It's working with fuel efficiency so that now you're not craving sugar, and extra energy goes towards building your immune system and getting you healthier. So just think what that might do for you. Maybe in the area of focus or in being able to handle stress easier. Maybe it's in the area of handling pain or being able to lift heavier weights or to sleep or to move better or just simply be able to walk better. There's so many pathways, and all of this technology comes under the heading of Super Patch. And again, when I first heard about it, it didn't make sense. But the science, these little patches, as the surgeon explained them to me, it was like, I get it. This makes a huge difference. And so we started playing with them ourselves, playing with them with clients. I was astonished. There was many times I was actually in tears. A good friend of mine that had a stroke and wasn't recovering and couldn't walk, wasn't able to use the right side of her body. And as we've been working with her, she said, "Is this what a patch can do?" The difference was in 10 minutes for her. That was exciting. But what about what's happening to us, Forrest and me? We're pretty different. For those of you who know us, we're like this. And so usually whatever works for one of us doesn't usually work for the other, but this is working for both of us. So for me, I went after a few things. I went after balancing my stress load. Because what I do with clients and writing and videos and using my brain after a pretty significant head injury just a couple of years ago, and I'm in my 70s, this is a game changer. I'm calmer. Then one that surprised me was joy. You know, this is typically for people with depression, anxiety, and Eeyore personality. That's not really me, but I'd become a workhorse. Just work, work, work. No matter what I did, there was more work, work, work to do. And as a result of joy, I'm becoming a little more fun. I'm becoming highly creative, and I'm getting excited about what I'm doing. And then definitely extra energy to do all that I want to do. And then because I'm in my 70s, I decided to give Lumi a try for skin. Because who knows, maybe this body, the skin, what's happening here is happening in the gut. Isn't that exciting? Lumi helps with collagen deposition. So what if this changes? That means the gut is changing. This is just fascinating. And so that's what I've been doing. Well, Forrest is different than me. Yes, we're both doing peace to calm our nervous system. But he did, and he's doing boost to have more energy. But he's doing one that he won't let me do, focus. It is causing Forrest. It's amazing. I've never seen the man that's been showing up in the last several months compared to a number of years, like 40 years. And then he's also using Victory for athleticism. It's helping his balance. It's helping him to lift 30% more with his kettlebells or his clubs. And so we both have been experimenting. And the bottom line of what it's done for us, we work together, we live together. We're now collaborating. It's not a competition where we butt heads and fine, you do it your way, you do it your way, and we just go off and do it individually. We're doing this because we're not reacting out of old marital experiences that we've lived. We're able to get out of here, up to here, and put a brain pathway into balance. But it doesn't stop with what's happened to us. There are many changes that we're seeing with many people literally around the world. So what if you could take that next step and discover what could work for you? In the description, it'll tell you how you can put in your first order, save 25%, and have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And why would you do that? You don't want to live back here. That's not your potential, that's your overwhelm and exhaustion. It's time to get to hear and balance these brain pathways. And if it's not easy, it's too hard. And at Lifestyle for Health, we're all about easy and results.